I'm standing here on the floor today to add my voice as a voice for the 70,000 Mainers who need affordable access to health care and who deserve to be heard. They are some of our state's most hardworking and most vulnerable, and those most in need. They are students, hardworking moms and dads, families who found themselves down on their luck, small business owners, and veterans who have served our state and country bravely. And they aren't asking for much, just the ability to see a doctor when they get sick. The rich and the powerful already have a voice here. Those with health insurance are already being heard. But I rise today to give voice to the thousands of Maine residents in need of basic health care, who are only asking for a little more stability in their lives. I'm standing here to tell the story of folks like Dwight and Clarice from my Senate district. They live in Lincoln. On Sunday, I got an email about their family struggle. Dwight, a longtime USW member and worker at the Lincoln Mill, was recently laid off. And even though he and his wife have worked hard all their lives, they are now without options for health insurance. With only unemployment insurance, they make too little to qualify for subsidies on the exchange. The Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, the ACA, was designed to cover them by offering federal funds to states to extend Medicaid, the question before us today. But the person I really want you to hear about and to get to know a little more about is Tiffany. She is someone I am carrying with me in my heart, and she is at the center of this debate today. And I share this story with Tiffany's permission. I met Tiff several years ago at an event called Take Back the Night, where survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence share their stories bravely, to break their silence and to support one another. Since that first time she told her story, Tiff comes every year to support other victims. She is there for them. Tiffany has been through a lot: sexual assault, domestic violence, substance abuse, poverty. But Tiffany is going to school. She is sober. And as a non-traditional student, she is working every day to become a counselor to help men and women in Maine, just like her, live a better life. Tiffany is an inspiration. But Tiffany, like the 70,000 Mainers hoping for basic health care today, is on the edge. At the end of January, I ran into her at the Hannaford in Old Town. She gave me a hug like she always does, but something wasn't right. Tiff told me she had run out of heating oil at her mobile home for the third time this winter. She was staying with friends and otherwise sleeping on her stepfather's couch and living out of an oversized duffel bag. She had exhausted her school funds and used her work-study money to pay for heating fuel. A week before final exams, she ran out of oil and spent 2 weeks at a friend's house. Christmas night, Tiff ran out of oil again, and that was the last night she had slept in her own bed. 5 days later, Tiffany had essential surgery on her left arm, and 2 days after that surgery, at the very beginning of January, she was cut from Maine Care because Tiffany, this hardworking student, is a non-categorical. Tiffany said to me, "I was cut off of Maine Care due to what I call being a responsible single adult. In their terms, I'm not disabled, not an AIDS patient, and not over 65, and I have no children, so, like many others, I have been left with no medical insurance." Tiffany has had a tough life. She's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, PTSD, depression, ADHD, diabetes, anxiety, and she has vision problems due to the diabetes and pain in her back from previous injuries. She takes medication for many of these diagnoses which allow her to function and go to school. You would never know that Tiffany's life is a daily obstacle course because she always wears a smile and she spends every minute cheering on other people. Tiffany cannot afford to pay for her meds with no job, and she cannot rely on a family member to get them. And as time goes by without coverage to refill them, Tiffany will not be able to attend school. She is likely to become unstable and out of control, and her blood sugar will likely get so high that it will attack her internal organs. And Tiffany isn't asking for a lot, but her dreams of becoming a counselor are roadblocked because of our failure to expand Medicaid in Maine. She can't be in classes, so she is training for a new job. She still has no heat in her home and is living with friends, but she is working with her landlord to pay back rent she owes and praying for warmer weather. And she has no medical coverage, so she is cobbling together partial prescriptions through programs at area pharmacies. Tiff is doing every possible thing she can to stay in school and stay on track. I have a bunch of people trying to help me, she wrote last week. What seems to be the hang-up in most directions is that I don't have main care. Lots of assistance if I did, but gotta get that state and federal medical coverage first. Sigh, she wrote, tired of this battle, but I am not giving up. And I know you are working hard for people like myself. I got an update from Tiffany just this week. Things are going okay, she said. I'm in training for my new job and hoping to move back to my house within the next 6 weeks. I still have no oil, but it's gonna get warmer. Paying back the rent I owe and planning for the future is what I'm trying to do. But Tiffany can only make it so far without health care, without those medications that she needs, and without our support today. Tiffany is doing everything she can to avoid falling off the edge, and it is up to us to say yes to expansion to help Tiffany and the hardworking men and women across Maine just like her. Mr. President, expanding Maine care shouldn't be a partisan issue. It's simply the right thing to do. Ensuring that the most vulnerable residents in our state are able to see a doctor when they get sick isn't a Republican issue or a Democratic issue. It should be a Maine priority and an American priority. And that's why I applaud the efforts of my colleagues who have put politics aside to do the right thing for Maine's most vulnerable residents, our economy, and our hospitals. Expanding Maine care will help reduce overall healthcare costs and save millions of taxpayer dollars that are currently being used to treat the uninsured who end up in our state's emergency rooms. This common sense legislation is a win-win. It will result in a healthier workforce and will boost our state's economy. And I'm standing here today to speak for those who need a voice in this process. Dwight and Clarice, Tiffany, and more. I'm standing here to be a voice for those 70,000 Mainers, including 3,000 veterans who are counting on us. It's time to do the right thing and pass the expansion of Maine care today. Thank you, Mr. President.